What's the difference?
Well, the difference is that normally I don't paint in here except when I'm working on giant 8-foot paintings that don't fit in my other studio where I normally paint.
Okay.
So yeah.
This is where you bring people to show them the art on the wall.
Yeah, this is where
there's
I
art everywhere.
show the art on the wall. Yeah, there's art everywhere, but this is where I have lights up nicely that I can focus on different pieces to highlight them.
And that's why the quality
This is where I have my shelving and
look at the lighting. Look at the quality here. He said the quality was so bad outside on the couch that we had to move in here and sit on hard wooden chairs.
Yeah, it's not as good quality for our glue.
Yes, but did you consider the fact that we're further away from the router and therefore there might be stoppages in this live?
I didn't consider that, but maybe we'll see if it happens too much. We'll have to reconsider this. Too much quality, you can't process it. YouTube's like, it's like we don't have. YouTube's probably gonna shut us off because they're like, you don't own the copyrights to the art, and we're gonna have to fill in a big thing about how we own the copyrights to our own art behind us.
We only did one episode in here.
Yeah.
Was it the episode where we're like, YouTube's have to get us, and now we have to switch and go back to my?
I don't
Is
know.
it the first episode where it ended up on mine, or was it?
I don't remember. It was episode 6, but I don't remember.
We are pretty deep in this right now. We're episode 15?
16.
Always in one shot.
Yeah, we're on episode 16, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
Lucky number.
We've been really consistent with making at least one podcast like every 7 or 8 days. Like we're trying to hit it weekly at least.
And let's be real.
Sometimes we've done 2 a week.
You know what we should do one day? Because sometimes we just like, we hang out and we should have did a podcast, but we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just film outside, that could be a different type of podcast.
It could be, or it could be a mini podcast. We could record like a 20-minute conversation.
You don't know what we're doing out there,
Mm-hmm.
but we're talking about shit.
Mm-hmm.
That could be recorded, and that could be, it's a totally different conversation.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What's new in Germ's art world this week? Did you sell any art? That's like, we should talk about that.
Oh, yeah,
like selling art,
delivered,
like, part of the reason we're doing this podcast is like to show people how to sell art. That's one of the main reasons we started doing this. So, what did you sell this week?
Well, there we yesterday I delivered a 30 by 40.
Nice.
Pretty interesting person. The person was collecting Nintendo, the first one.
Really?
Had 5 or 4 Robbie robots. How unbelievable was that? And like over 200 games. So I was pretty taken aback by that collection. I love when people curate something.
Nice.
I find that's an art in itself. To see it all displayed, you know? And that's nostalgic, and that's part of my childhood. And for someone to do that, it blew me away.
Nice.
And other than that, a friend got me into film photography. And as a tinkerer, I thought it would be interesting to go back in the history of film and see how they were doing it. Because clearly when they filmed and shot in the Civil War, they didn't have photography studios out in the field. So they did something in a tent. They did something and they brought it with them. So there was some kind of chemicals, and then at one point, hopefully, non-toxic chemicals.
Right.
That's what I'm really
sure
after.
They were non-toxic. The ones in the Civil War, for sure.
Oh, it was mercury and stuff. They for sure went delirious. But nowadays, I think there's a chance to look at that and have an effect with film photography. So I took a picture of you. There's only one picture in the 24 frames of you, I think. I don't think I took another picture of you in that frame. And it'd be cool to make a black and white film photo, scan it now. So we went back in time. Now we're going to go forward in time and scan it and bring it onto the computer. And then once on the computer, do something to it there too. And then tell Costco to print it. Like a regular photo, right? Print this.
That's cool.
And it could be a really interesting process.
Yeah, no, it definitely could be, especially if you share the process with people and build up the story behind it. Because, I mean, I gotta say, I've heard you've been talking about this process you're planning on doing for a few days, and, like, I can see you're super excited and into it and learning all about it and reading everything you can about it, and, you know,
It's just today that I finally published it.
It's building the interest in me, because I'm not a photographer. I never really enjoyed photography. In fact, it's one of the things I dislike the most about my art career is the fact that I have to be good at photography in order to share my art the best possible way. And the truth is, I'm really not. It doesn't interest me. I'm not passionate about it, and I have a hard time getting into it. Like, I just want to give that job to someone who's already passionate and good at it and knows what they're doing and understands it, and like there's a lot of photographers out there who are passionate about it. So I'd rather give that part of what I need done to somebody who's gonna take it and do a good job with it because they're into it. Whereas I'll be like, when it comes to me in photography, like I go for good enough, man. I just go for like good enough, and what's good enough for me, for a lot of people who are like the Instagram generation, like it's not good enough for them because they are the photographers. They've been taking pictures with their phone since they were kids.
But that's why we're gonna come out of left field and punch them in the face with film developed by coffee in my sink.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's film that's developed with coffee, and it makes a black and white still. And I think that the things that I witness in my life, like you sitting at that desk, that's social media worthy. But like you said, some people, it's not good enough. So yeah, we're gonna develop it with coffee, the same exact frame, and we're gonna get you to see it differently. And I think that's what it's all about. Because really, we should talk about this for a bit. How do you document your art and your story better through pictures and video? And we'll just stick to pictures, I guess, for a moment. You say you're not passionate about it, that's fine, but even the scenes when you sit at your desk, that's a window into your world that a lot of people would not document. And I would argue you should document those things. Frame it in such a way. In my stories, you might see a red couch and some art on the wall at the moment. That's my, 3 walls. I'll never show you the 4th wall because it's a goddamn mess at the moment. That's just what it is. So you can present your house, in such a way where it's a window into your world, but as an artist, you're still keeping the illusion of the 4th wall. You don't necessarily need to see the 4th wall. So, I don't know, I think that if you're on your computer, if you're in your studio, try and get someone who can take a candid picture of you.
Yeah, I gotta
and
admit,
crop it correctly because they probably won't be good at framing.
There are some.
Get them to take a wide shot. This is a serious thing. Get them to take a wide shot, and you crop it afterwards. If you can't trust that they're good at framing, if they're old.
I mean, for me personally, there's like sometimes like Chris Dyer sent me an old picture that he took of me in like 2007 or 8, like a week or two ago, and it was me in a suit when I used to manage a call center. I went over to his place one night after to pay him a deposit on a painting I bought from him, I guess, and I brought my guitar over to jam with him, and it's a picture of me in my suit and tie playing guitar. That suit costs more than almost my rent does these days. But that's how it was back then. That's what I did, and I took some of the money I made and invested it in Chris's art, which led me, was the beginning steps to leading me here to hosting a podcast about art. And now I make my own art, and it's a lot of inspiration through Chris, but all the dots connected, and
all the documentation is worthwhile. It's not just your painting that you're sharing. It's the process.
Chris is the master of documenting his life.
Yeah, if you really want to see someone who did it effectively as an artist, consistently
Since
with
he
the
was a
same
kid.
story, and it paying off, check out Chris Dyer. Check out is it Chris Dyer on YouTube or Positive Creations?
His website's positivecreations.ca and positivecreations.net.
Art Ventures.
I'll put links down under there. Oh yeah, and on
Art Ventures is one of the newer ones where he.
Those are on YouTube. Those are his YouTube videos of his travels, and he makes amazing productions out of them because he can afford to hire people to edit them and film them
sometimes
properly
40
for him.
minutes.
Yeah,
and it's a mini documentary of his travels when he goes to, let's say, Russia or Peru or whatever.
Or wherever, yeah, he goes all over the world. There's one whole episode, I think, where he's on the boat, isn't there? Where he's
There's one before Chris even popped off, where it's his documentary. You're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it.
It was on DVD. There was no, I don't think there was sharing of that size of video online at that time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's like 100 megs, no one was sharing that shit. And
or
he
would be uploaded in
and
like
he
10
would have
parts.
never let the quality go down like that. It's about art. And that's an interesting thing that he did. Because it really made people feel...
He has a book. He has a coffee table book.
No, it's not...
No, but that's one thing he did to document...
But dude, the documentary, making a documentary about your art and your process...
The book is similar, though, because it documents his wole career from start to finish.
But it's not mainstream. We're not like in 1960. No one gives an F about a book.
That's not true.
No, it's good.
I get, there's a lot of people that do.
I have it, and you have it.
Yeah,
but my
we've showed it on this podcast.
Yeah,
before.
but my obvious point is that the easier access is not, hey, buy this book and it ships for a
My
lot, 'cause
point
it's
isn't
heavy,
about buying the book or not.
Or get the video for free on YouTube.
My point
There's
isn't
a
about
huge
buying the
difference.
book or not. My point is, okay, you have the documentary. The documentary takes an hour and a half to look through. The coffee table book on your coffee table, like it's a solid document. Like if YouTube starts changing their algorithms and Chris talks about ayahuasca and we don't want ayahuasca anymore, Chris Dyer's channel is not on YouTube anymore.
I would argue do the
Now I have
documentary
the book.
first.
I would argue
Do the
do
Chris-
both. Do both if you can.
Yeah.
But
You
my
can only
whole
do
point
one
is,
thing at a
how
time.
awesome Chris is at documenting his journey as an artist.
Hold on though. If you only can do one thing. You're investing in one thing at a time. Do the documentary first, and then do the book.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's an opening act. It gets people in to the fold.
Then again,
because it's
I
easier
might-
to watch the thing, and then later there's a book. But if you do the book first, dude, honestly, the priority A game is the documentary, and I will not back down.
That's awesome. I think the priority is just documenting however you decide to do it, whether it's audio, video, whether it's making a book. Because these days, for me, I don't like
You
doing.
stay
I
off
don't
the
like.
book.
For me,
Stay off the book.
I don't like doing the video stuff. For me, it would be much easier to sit down with a Vistaprint book creator and to take 2 months and do a few pages a day and create a book. It would be. I
this
would
is the
feel
video.
more comfortable with
This
that.
is the video. You're
This
not
is
even
the
doing
video, but it's not the video of like how I started. It's not my story told from start to finish.
Not from start to finish.
And
But
that's
it's definitely
what's,
the story of
that's what's awesome to get to see in Chris's documentary and in his book. You get to see from start to where he left off. It's not start to finish. The story's still continuing.
Mm-hmm.
But like his story's been 20 years so far. So like to go through that.
He's older than 20 years old.
No, I know, but his story that's been documented of when he really started making art and sharing it starts when he's 12 or something like. There's some pictures of him on a skateboard when he's 8 or whatever. But,
That man like 57 right now.
My point is like as a fan of Chris's art, it's super interesting to be able to go through that stuff.
I'm
and
actually
learn
more of a
and
fan
learn
of his
who-
documentation.
you-
I'm a huge fan of his art, but he is a phenomenal documenter.
And that goes.
It's
that's-
unbelievable.
That's like for me, documenting isn't only on video. A book is a document. It's more of a document than a video. Like
It's more
I'm-
finesse. It's more finesse. Hands down.
and it's more durable.
It's amazing. But in this day and age, the one that leads people in is
And he
still
signed it. He
the
never
documentary.
signed my videos.
No, you're in the documentary.
I am, but he didn't sign it. I don't have a signed copy of the documentary. Now, of course, I could get a signed copy of that one because there are DVDs of it. But now,
But
anyway.
honestly, we said we talked about how this should more be about photo because photo is an easier entry level.
But the point we were
This
trying to
video
make is
takes
documenting
some-
your career. Yet, for some
takes some
people,
strategies.
photo and video's easier. For me, writing's easier.
Mm-hmm.
For me, writing is a lot easier than all that. It's not I don't enjoy that. I enjoy writing. I enjoy sitting there and writing something, and if I read it and like I'll rewrite it so that it sounds better and throw better words in. Like I won language arts awards when I was in high school.
Where are they? I don't see them on the shelf.
Anyway, long story short, I like that's my mode of communication, and whatever yours is, like if it's video, great, run with it and do it. Document your career that way. If it's writing, document it that way. If it's photos, document it that way.
Mhm.
Whatever is your way of documenting it, just document as much as possible. If you can combine all of those things and do a video and a book and and the social medias and all of it, all power to you. The more the better, because the documentation is the legacy, is the provenance of things
the
after
point
you're gone.
is that it's easier than you think because it's not just the paintings.
Mhm.
If it was the paintings, then you'd really have to make some fucking goddamn paintings. But it's all kinds of things, and that's why I don't stress about having to create all these things because it's effortless.
Mhm.
It's there if you let it be there. Your life is interesting.
And that's for you. It's there if you let it be there. If I told you, Germ, can you like write stuff for me, and you'd start thinking it feels like homework, and you wouldn't want to write a book.
I'll
You'd be
take
like,
the
no,
thing-
I'm gonna take these
No,
videos.
you do the thing that's passionate for me, right? So I'll help
Exactly.
you with the video.
That's my
I
point.
want to do some pictures.
That's my point.
And,
Different people have different modes of expressing themselves through different mediums and types, and yours is video. You're
I
super
could
awesome
see-
at video.
And I could see how the pictures are going to become video in the sense that because I'm scanning them, I can Ken burn, which is moving in and out of different pictures. And if I take a lot of pictures of you at your house, then I can just take audio of you and tell me how it is to be an artist.
Hmm.
well, you know, I like wake up.
And then you're gonna get
and then it's
a
just like,
montage.
you get a montage of pictures. But and then cut back to him talking, obviously, because I'll do video too of him talking in the studio. But clip to those fucked up black and whites. Ooh. Especially in video, that's like going back exam. Documentation, archival shit, black and whites. He's been doing this for a serious minute.
And I'll be honest, that's something I need to work on, is documenting a little more. I mean, I used to document my story very well on social media. I would share my story every day and a little piece of what's going on. And, you know, when I was getting sober and when I was going through my divorce, I was married and I got divorced, and that changed my life. I moved back from Costa Rica to Canada. I was going through a really mentally hard time, trying to stay sober through it all. I had to move back in with my parents because when I moved back from Costa Rica, I didn't have anything here to come back to. I didn't have a job yet, stuff like that. So, like, I documented all that, and people followed that, and they were on it and into it, and along with my art, sharing, and I made a lot of art. I was sharing art a lot. And people were super into it, and then the algorithm started making it harder and harder for people to follow along that story in order, which we've mentioned in other episodes, that they'll throw things, you know, I don't know on your Facebook, I know on my Facebook, 80% of my posts are 3 days old. Like, what, we're the 8th today of July, the 7th or the 8th? All day I've been seeing 4th of July posts and fireworks, and I'm like, man, that was 3 days ago in a country I don't live in. Why am I seeing all this shit?
You know, it's
it's so ridiculous, and that's what it is. Like, today's 4th of July Memorial Day, you know, like, well, let's remember what happened 3 days ago. That's what Facebook is now. It's like, you don't get I see my friends' events 3 days after they happen. I'll see posts about them, and it's like, thanks, Facebook, you know, but if they paid, maybe I would have seen the event. Well, who's gonna start paying to invite people to their barbecue on Saturday where there's 8 people coming to have a freaking hot dog by the pool? You know,
I'm excited for it to have another upswing into a new platform or something. I don't know. I'm not that happy with social media at the moment. It's not really the greatest.
And that's why I think, like, you've been thinking more about ways to interact with people in real life locally. And that's something that I'm thinking more about too.
And secretly, the photos have everything to do with that. Because taking a photo of someone is a very intimate thing. And if I take it and really make it.
Taking a photo on film of someone, yes.
Yeah, not
nowadays everybody takes photos of everybody all the time.
Jack shit in the, like, I'm not going to a store and having someone do it. I'm really taking care of the process. Maybe not making the film, but I will endeavor to make the actual print. I will try and project down on paper. Unique paper that I find that you coat with the emulsion yourself. You buy a pot of the emulsion. That's clearly what they have somewhere. And you fucking Anyways, that's really intimate. I think when you hand it to someone and you become part of their life. Where social media, and let's really think about this. We take a photo. Yeah, it's enjoyed. Where does it go after?
Yeah.
Where's it go?
Yeah, no, they eventually get deleted, or you get a new phone.
It makes it fucking this.
You get a new phone, it's throw out because there's so many of them.
And then like you won't even take a picture because subtly you know that. You know that it's throwaway, so you won't even capture the moment because
But at the end of the day, you end up throwing away all your memories when you get a new phone and your pictures. Like, not everyone, obviously. There's those people out there who keep who also, like, do the opposite, and they have like 800,000 pictures on 10 different hard drives from 1996 forward.
I do,
and they never go through any.
I do. Video.
But one day they will. One day maybe you will, and one day maybe your grandkids will.
I want it on the fridge. I want it in the room. You know what I mean? I want it like back in the day when I was a kid. I put things on the wall and it was like sick.
I want to invent the video tombstone where you take all that shit and upload it, and then people go to your tombstone and press play, and there's all your life in front of them. That's what I want to invent. And the sleep pod. The sleep pod.
Is that just a pod you sleep in?
It's a pod you sleep in. But look, people have been lying on shitty mattresses for fucking hundreds of years now. Isn't it time? Like, it's very possible to engineer this thing where you close it and it blocks out all noise. You have complete silence in there. You've got like a super comfy bed molded to your body where you go to the frickin' thing and like you stand at the store and they mold it to your body.
I would like it to be 45 degrees.
And it's perfectly temperature controlled, and it has like scents that blow in, and it even can control the levels of like oxygen and nitrogen so that it makes the levels like lower to put you to sleep easier. So
I want to be on an angle like this.
Like, it's time to re-engineer sleep. We spend frickin' 40-50% of our lives, or 30% of our lives asleep. Let's make it work for everybody, where everybody goes to sleep. And yeah, maybe they'll cost $5,000 or $6,000. But if you buy this thing and you get the best sleep of your life, it's worth it.
What if you get the best dreams?
Elon Musk. Elon, if you're watching, get on that shit, man.
Dude, when we're horizontal, when we're standing vertical, we're awake. When we're horizontal, we're asleep. What if we were diagonal? Would we be consciously awake in the dream world? Maybe. I think that, and that would revolutionize everything.
But I think like
people would pay hundreds of thousands.
I think the ability to choose like the scent you want to fall asleep to, and the music, and the temperature, and the even
this is like the Japanese toilet of beds.
Exactly. Even the level of gas, like so that you can kind of like knock yourself out at the end of the day by lowering the level of oxygen for 20 minutes, so like you fall asleep faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's totally possible to do that, and it should exist because like it's 2019 and we're all still going to buy springs and foam. Like, come on.
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money, yeah, and I'd pay a lot more to get better sleep. Where like I close the thing and like if there's construction happening outside, don't hear it. If an earthquake happens and my house collapses and I'm in that little pod, I live. If there's a fire, I live. If there's a flood, it floats. If there's a tsunami, you live because the thing floats and it's fireproof and like built to survive.
That'd be crazy. Tsunami. Everyone in bed.
Everyone in bed. Exactly. Boom. Like, why does this not exist? Anyone who's watching, comment below and tell me if you think it's a good idea.
The womb.
No, the womb or just the pod.
I like pod. Yeah, I like sleep pod.
Like, give it to Apple.
What is that? A pod you sleep in?
Like, exactly. Apple, you guys already have all your pod shit. Like, let's call it the pod. Forget iPod, it's the pod. The pod.
Everyone has
a pod.
Everyone has one.
Yeah. And if you don't have a pod, it's like...
You need to buy our art, because we will invest in the pod.
No, I won't. I don't think I'm going to start the pod company.
Well, we just need one prototype. Fiberglass. Fiberglass egg. I want it to look like an egg.
Yeah,
futuristic egg.
Like an egg.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, futuristic egg.
And the thing opens up, and yeah, it doesn't have to be that
and it can be clear.
Sell them.
It can have
the idea.
It could even have different colors of films that you put over the glass. That like, this is like, oh, you want blue light coming in the morning.
You want it to look like a Ferrari.
You want it completely dark. Fine. You want it see-through. Fine.
No, just first model is red, not white.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about art.
That is art. That would be art. That would be art. Yeah. There you go. So, anyways, it's important to get your sleep when you're an artist. There you go. This is.
I think this is a good demonstration of if you could do that and you would sell more art. There's no way if you endeavor to make the pod, you're not selling art on the side as well. It's such an interesting story. Everyone sleeps, and everyone's gonna be like, man, I'm gonna fucking support this guy who buys art because he's making the pod.
Yeah, watch it. Kickstarter coming soon. No, it's not, because like I don't.
I like the idea.
It's an amazing idea, but to actually make it happen, it would involve so many like molds and models and engineering. And
if you are local,
I don't even like talking to my own camera. Forget all this shit. Like,
we're talking about paying someone to make a fiberglass egg.
Yeah,
like
but no, the whole thing
pictures.
is the whole process where it like levels of gas, so it puts you to sleep fast.
No,
like,
you went too far.
Important.
You went too far. No.
If you're gonna build it, like
you understand, it's a fiberglass egg with what looks like a comfortable inside, and then I sell it with video that it's super comfy, and look at this, gas comes out and it farts at you. It doesn't. I just make it movie magic do it.
Yeah.
And then if people buy it, then we have to make that happen for real.
Yeah. I'd rather make it happen for real. So that during the whole stressful part of like making that business happen, I'm getting some really good sleep.
The egg, it's an amazing, just for the joke video, it's amazing if people want to actually buy it.
It's not a joke! Who wouldn't want one of these things? Who doesn't want to sleep better?
No, I know, it's the weirdest joke of all time because it's true. It's like, I don't know if it's I think of it more as a joke because wouldn't it be the greatest product of all time? And it is.
It is.
So it's an amazing joke, and we're going to do this. We're gonna do this. I don't know if it's gonna be episode 17. Possibly. Let's take a gamble. What?
Like, let's take it
even
even to the future. Like, to the future, it could monitor your vital signs while you're sleeping and report those directly to your Fitbit or whatever keeps track of how your health is, and tell you in the morning, like, hey, you're low on magnesium.
Chief Technical Officer over here is telling us the CTO plans for the egg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
Well, I
treasurer.
think the more features you can cram into it, where it makes people's lives better.
Oh, sorry, the budget doesn't allow that. I'm
The
sorry.
better.
We're gonna have to movie magic that. I'm sorry, I'm the treasurer and Vita.
Sorry, Elon, you're not going to Mars anymore. You're making everyone on Earth sleep better, so that we don't have to go to Mars. Everyone's more relaxed and gets along better.
Dude, honestly, it's arguably a better legacy. Not than going to Mars, but the electric car. I think. I don't know, because everyone drives a car too. It's just on par with the electric car because everyone sleeps. God damn it!
But cars are moving towards taking the driver out of the equation. Slowly, they're self-driving. They want to make new road systems where everything's pods and like.
You want to be CTO where instead of me doing the perfume at night, my bed does it for me.
You know what I want to do actually? I want to go get, first of all, some juice because I'm thirsty. Second of all, my new little painting that I just made.
You gonna leave me alone in here with them?
I'm gonna leave you alone with them. With all our fans.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll hold the fort.
Awesome. Hold the fort. Be back soon.
Well, this has been a quality filmed Arty Time. I'm just gonna check my emails. I hope you don't mind. See, I don't have Wi-Fi or data at home, so listen, I have to take the time at Adam's house to check my emails. How often do you check your emails? Do you check them all the time?
Are you asking me something?
Yes, I'm asking you a question. It's a great segue, bro. How often do you check your emails?
Not as often as I check my social medias. I check my emails like, I don't know, 3-4 times a day. Maybe 5 or 6, I don't know.
Some people argue that you should only check them 2 times a day.
Yeah,
Once
once in the morning, once in the night. Yeah.
And don't overburden yourself and think about them, because once you put them away in that neat little package of night and morning, then they don't burden you in the day. But if you don't put them in that fucking cage, those thoughts will come at you. You're having lunch and it's like you're with people, you're doing a podcast, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna check my emails because I don't check my emails. See the point I just made? Phenomenal point. I'm on fire.
One other thing that we've never talked about on the podcast before, I don't think anyway, that's pretty good advice that I read about running a business or an online business especially. And basically what that is deal with something once. Like when, say for example, you get a notification of somebody's comment on social media and you want to reply to it. Reply to it right then and there, so you don't have to remember to come back to it later. And you don't have to cycle through it again. Same thing.
Because you don't go back. Let's be honest.
If you if you do go back, like it's bothering you all day, like okay, I have to go back and reply to this person. Like just reply to it once. Read the comment once, reply to it once, and then you're done with it. Same with an email. Same with when you're making your post. Like if you make your social media post, and for me this is the hardest thing, is to make my post and run and not come back and read the notifications every 10 minutes. You know, if somebody comments, I'll go read their comment right away instead of waiting 7 hours and then checking to reply to the 3 comments at once. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's my problem because that's my social media addiction that's hard to break. So anyway, but that's one thing that definitely does help cut it down a little bit, is if I just deal with something once and then bounce and go do something else, I have a lot better chance of not getting stuck in scroll land. Whereas if I like get 3 comments on 3 different posts or in a group or something like that, and then like I go to one and like, it's not really important to reply to, this one's more important to reply to, so I'll reply to this one, and then I'll be like, oh, I should probably go like at least say okay thanks on that other anyway, and then I end up spending a lot more time on social media than if I just would have said okay thanks, reply to this one, bang, gone.
You made your point. I mean, do you want to talk about how the documentary is better than the book? Show them the painting.
Alright, so yeah, here's the painting. Lately I've been really reading a lot about medieval history and the history of secret societies like Knights Templar and Freemasons and things like that. We talked all about conspiracy theories on one of our previous episodes, and I went down a rabbit hole and like, you know,
this is a conspiracy podcast after all.
Sacred
The algorithms, we have to watch out.
Sacred geometry, and like a lot of those things were used in building churches, and
It's art.
yeah, I mean the geometry is like it's math, and that was like for a lot of to be aware of the geometry and how to divide a circle and things like that. That was a knowledge that wasn't taught to just anyone 2,000 years ago. You had to be taught that by
Initiated
into that knowledge, exactly. And so anyway, one of these groups that was known to carry this type of knowledge, supposedly anyway, was the Knights Templar. And I'm a big fan of this TV show Curse of Oak Island, which has all kinds of connections with or possible connections anyway with Knights Templar and different Freemason pirates and things like that. And anyway, through digging through this rabbit hole, I found out about heraldry. And heraldry is an ancient art form that basically means like
it's your family's logo, really.
It's your family and or your
and logos, like they collect logos over the year and arrange them in a certain
or like an army's logo, so that like say a banner exactly, that everyone knows like, okay, if they've got this mark, because like say if
three lines on a
if you're wearing a knight's helmet and you've got full suit of armor on, like you can't see people's faces, so they had to have some sort of symbol to know they're on your team. And that's what heraldry was. And it also became known, like, for families to have their crest, or for businesses. Like, it was basically the origin of logos. And a lot of time there was a lot of meaning in it anyway. So I named the painting Knight's Cross, and here it is. It's a little 8 by 8 inches. And it's got the cross in the middle. It's got some symbology in there for royalty, and basically the royal lineages in Europe used to put a ball on top of their crowns, which represented the earth, and then they have a cross on top of that, which basically represented that they were
dominant over
God on earth. They were the ones that were like doling out justice on earth, and like in God's name, like as the ultimate authority on earth. There's no one higher than the king or queen who's wearing that crown, and that's like what it meant. So anyway, that's partly why I did that, with the ball in the middle and the cross coming out of it and stuff like that. So it's kind of like just been inspired by the interesting history I've been reading, and that's cool too. So I'm happy to share this new painting with you. And it's cool that I did a painting that was inspired by that, because over the last 3 years when I've been head deep in my business, like I wasn't taking time to just read stuff, and like,
You're passionate about that?
It's not even that it's been interesting me. Am I super passionate about it, and do I want to write books about it? No, but it's just been really interesting to learn about this stuff. It affected my art, and
some kind of it came out.
Yeah. So I mean, it's nice that I've been able to take a little step away from only being focused on my art career, to be able to just like take some me time and read things I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think we both went through the same thing. That's what the film is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd rather do that than paint at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And arguably, it's more interesting. You've seen me paint 1,000 times. Here's a new trick out of the bag. And then how do you bring that into the paintings? Well, my friend, the wheat pastel can definitely use some big prints.
Mm-hmm.
And what if it's pictures of the art and then on expired film, and then the expired film is doing an effect that I have no control over, and my art now has this new,
randomness to it, huh?
Due to consumerism, the mass production of this stuff, and no one wanted it because it's expired. And what does expired mean?
No, I think that's awesome. I mean, like taking... It's, in a way, it makes me think of my brush paper paintings, where you're taking something that's garbage and turning it into art,
And really doing it with coffee, and there's a way to do it with beer, I don't drink beer. Drink coffee.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
And I'll give it that old school touch, like maybe a sepia, because all the effects that happen on Photoshop, or your phone when you're on Instagram. Sapia is because they were using bronze plates back in the Civil War days, and it really came out with that color. And did you know that if they didn't use the right ingredients, it would come out more cheesy, and people would call it a cheesy picture, and that's where that comes from.
Really? That's where say cheese comes from?
That is a question we'd have to dig on. But the other one I know that's a cheesy picture means it's a cheap picture,
I would assume
and it
if
comes
it's
from the time
cheese.
when the chemicals were wrong and it looked cheesy. So sapia and all those effects that we see are from that heraldry.
Interesting.
And the culture of taking a photo. And I think that coffee will bring a really
I don't know a lot about the
effect.
techniques. I just
It'll
know
bring a new effect that nobody is ready for yet. It's not on your Instagram. Expired film and coffee developing is not a setting on your fucking Instagram. I promise you, you're gonna think it looks dope.
Awesome! I can't wait to see this, especially the picture you took of me. So that's pretty awesome. Like, it's getting me excited, and I hope you're getting excited to see it too.
I see it in my mind, and hopefully it develops right. You're sitting at the table. There's the two paintings in the back. Pacific Northwest. I got it.
Awesome. Well, look, like I gotta be honest. For the last couple of months, while I've been starting my new job and getting adjusted with that, I haven't really been feeling the painting vibe. But over the last couple of weeks, like, I've been painting a lot more.
I'm happy I captured
I've got into it, and like I'm back into making art, and I'm feeling super motivated to make more art and share it with you.
I felt that you were always making art, but definitely the last week
just
or two,
slowed down.
there's a
slowed down, like.
Yeah, but there's a pickup. I felt it over the last couple of weeks.
And it's a big part of it is I needed a break. That's all it was. I just needed a break. I needed to take a step back and just relax and take some me time and find some other things I'm interested in my life, And
that's what this whole episode is about. Is to somehow make it part of the artistic story. Taking a break can still be documented.
It's been documented a lot on these Arty Time podcasts. I mean, I spoke a lot about what's going on these Arty Time podcasts that I never posted anything about on Facebook or on Instagram. Or, if you watch these Arty Time podcasts, you know a lot more about what's going on in my art career and life than if you're just following me on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
And, that's something I want to work on. I want to get back more into sharing a little bit more about what's going on with me on all those social medias, but I want to make it easier for me to do that, where I don't activate my addiction and get stuck in it. So I got to find a way to make that happen. I'm still leaning towards hiring somebody to do social media for me, or at least create and share the content, or some of it. I'd like to create the content myself, but like post it on one social media and then have this person log into all the others and post it there, and then I go check them once a
I like your idea of you do the blog post and they scrape from there.
Yeah, exactly. That's even better.
You're
right. I got to tend more to my website, build that SEO up. I haven't made a blog post on my website in a couple months because it's just like,
when you turn off the internet,
I've been on that break vibe, and that's okay. Like part of me, especially at first when I was getting into that break vibe, I was feeling really guilty about it. And then I was feeling pressure on myself, and then it made me feel worse. And I'm like, it would just snowball into like, I feel
Except
like
that when you're on the internet vibe, you think fast and you think short term because it's a throwaway culture. When you get away from it for a sec, that's when you have the long term plans and the smarter plans as an artist. And keep my warning, get off, detach. And get into that vibe where you don't talk fast and you don't think fast and things are obvious. But when you're online, there's too much.
There's too much clutter,
and people feel like they're getting choked out, so they're talking fast. This is affecting people. The internet is affecting people now because the internet is like people feel like don't scroll away from me.
Yeah, the internet.
And they're desperate and it's weird and it's fucked up, So like get away from that for a bit because it literally monkey see, monkey do. We are all affecting each other.
Especially
when you're there, they're affecting you. Don't think that they're not.
Especially right now with the election going on in the States and everything getting
geared up for that. I have not been getting anything about that. It's really like I'm on a hole.
Yeah, I mean, I think because we're Canadian, we're not getting a lot of that this year, but I know Americans are. Like, I know that whole bullshit's gonna be...
Is Hillary running?
No.
Oh, good.
Anyway,
Bernie
I
running?
don't even want to get into the politics thing. I just like it's
Is
a
Bernie
it's
running?
a thing.
Come on, tell me this. Is Bernie running?
Yes, Bernie's running.
Is he doing all right?
I don't know, man. They haven't even done the Democratic.
Bernie, he's probably like 90
they haven't
now.
chosen the Democratic candidate yet. It's
And-
it's probably going to end up the same thing as the last election, where half the people are going to vote for Joe Biden because they don't want Bernie, and then like the vote's divided, and Trump becomes president again for 4 more years. That's what I'm calling is going to happen. Like you heard it here first. I'm sure you heard it on a bunch of other places.
Same story.
Because it's just obvious.
Same story,
History
new
repeats
faces.
itself. But same story, different faces, yeah. Oh, I'd never vote for Joe Biden. He's like handsy with kids, and then like, oh, I'd never vote for Bernie. So like half these Democratic voters aren't gonna vote, and then it's gonna be Donald Trump, and they're anyway. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Whatever. This is the same.
But,
thing.
my point-
Bomb people.
My point is he's talking about disconnecting, and I know this whole thing's coming up where the algorithms are going to be showing you opposite points of view to get you to argue, because if you're interacting with posts, they think that that's better than if you're not interacting with them. And when you see things that make you angry and you go post something that responds, and then you're arguing with strangers that you've never met on the internet about things that are like beyond your control anyway, like that's what's the next 2 years on Facebook is going to be.
Make sure you're aware of
So
that. If
make
there's
sure you're
things
aware of
that
that, and like if it's taking over your mind, like
if things
disconnect
trigger
from it.
you, if things
don't-
trigger you, don't play into it because the algorithm doesn't know the nuance of that. If you clicked, it just knows you clicked.
Like we said previously, when I got sick, I was empathizing with people who were sick, so I was connecting with those kind of posts of people who were depressed and sick and had chronic illnesses and going through all that. And
Take
next
a
thing I
step
knew,
back.
there's no more art in my news feed. My news feed full of people who are sick and chronic illnesses. The same thing can happen with politics. If you're liking all the politics that you agree with, pretty soon Facebook is going to think you like politics more than art, and you're going to see politics more than art.
Right now, I'm
So-
seeing vintage BMX.
So
a
be
lot.
careful. Be careful with what you do, because the reaction is quick. Normally people react very quick, and they're not thinking about what those algorithms are going to do
Yeah.
down the line.
Take a step back. That's what we're saying. The quick to act. But if you disconnect, you'll see that like, oh yes,
Mhm.
the robots are watching me.
Mhm.
I like vintage BMX, robots.
Mhm.
Show me vintage BMX, and you just smash it, smash it,
Mhm.
smash the likes. Everyone needs those likes,
Mhm.
except for politics stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's WrestleMania. Don't get involved in that.
Yeah. Zappa said it. Frank Zappa said politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. Yeah.
For sure.
It is.
Never heard about that, but that's totally what it is. Because they just want you to squabble. If you're squabbling, that's great.
Mhm.
Because then you're investing.
If you're fighting, you're not.
You're investing.
If you're fighting, you're not making things better.
Yeah.
If you're busy arguing and fighting, then you're not working to make the world a better place. You're arguing with somebody else that they should be working to make the world a better place in a different way, instead of making the world a better place in your own way. And that's what I want to focus on, especially over the next 2 years. I want to really get into, like, I've been painting, the last 3 paintings I've done have been mandalas. And I just did that workshop about a month and a half ago. Like, there's something that the world needs out of the mandalas, and I'm a channel for them. Like, I bring forth really beautiful art when I focus on it, and the world needs that from me right now, so I'm going to try and focus on that. I still want to play around with these big video game things, because they're a lot of fun for me, and the world needs fun too. Especially when the world is like kind of distracted by all this division stuff. It's like, yo, look at this big thing. Doesn't it make you think like a kid and bring you back to those days when you were just playing Mario with your friends?
Yeah, hey, look at this. It's better than that shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This is just better.
Mm.
Positive emotions.
Yeah.
And a person
positive
created
emotions.
it's creativity, it's the creation aspect of life, which is a beautiful thing.
And it's real, and it's not curated by a board of directors or by what's the word I want to use, like a focus group. It's just us being us and sharing our creations with you, because that's what we love to do.
Yeah, and my new endeavor is to document better everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You, because you say that you don't like documenting. So
It's not that
That's what I gotta
I
do.
suck at it. I suck at documenting the way you document.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good at writing.
and I want to
suck at
document. I want to
the way you
document
write.
the Montreal scene. You know, there's so many amazing artists in Montreal, and so unique, and pictures need to be taken, and documentary needs to be made about that picture shit.
Yo, and then once you have this whole picture and documentary, give me all the pictures and I'll make a book for you.
We'll make a book for sure. Guarantee we'll make a book.
Because that would be a very cool book, a black and white photos of a bunch of Montreal artists.
2020.
That would be amazing. I'd buy that. I'd want that for Christmas.
Montreal 2020, where we've struck gold here. The Pod.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just tuning in, the Pod is a registered trademark idea. So don't go back and watch the beginning of this podcast and steal our idea. We've already trademarked it.
Yeah, don't worry. Elon Musk is our new business partner, so you missed that. Sorry.
No, yeah, CTO. I am the Chief Financial Officer. I'm telling you, we're making it out of fiberglass.
So, what should we name this episode? It's the Elon conspiracy? Should we call it Elon Gate and make it a really long episode?
I don't know, because we had some good runs on things that I
didn't
thought it
even
was
get
about
that
the
far,
episode.
Alright.
I thought the episode was about a couple things, but then it kept changing. So it's about 3 things really in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, our episodes are never about anything. They're about us just sitting here talking, and whatever comes out is what's meant to come out at the moment. And if you guys are enjoying that, that's awesome. I know I'm enjoying it. I go back and I watch the episodes because I upload them from Germ's channel over to my channel, and when I do, I usually press play so I can hear what we're talking about when I write the description underneath that.
You like what you hear?
I like what I hear. Most of the time, I love what I hear. We have a lot of good information that we share, and
Have I ever made you laugh?
yes, you make me laugh all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's good to hear.
For sure. And I know I made you laugh, and I hope we made our viewers laugh. So, I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So,
I don't have Wi-Fi, so I don't get to watch them again. Literally, I put it out there, and I don't have any idea what I'm saying after the fact, so... Maybe one
it's
day I'll
fairly
look back and be
obvious that you
"What?"
don't, because I'm always the one that's oh, we talked about this in this episode, or remember last time we talked about it? And you're we did, oh. But anyway, I think
got couples.
I enjoy going over it, because it kind of is, I see when I, things that I want to improve on when I'm talking to the camera, there's a few things that I catch myself saying over and over again, at the end of the day. And there's a couple other things that I say all the time that I'm when I'm watching the videos, I'm oh, I say that 3 times in one sentence. Oh my god. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. That's who I am.
I love it. I love it.
So, don't be shy to be yourself. Everybody's got things that they do over and over and in a weird way, and that they look at themselves doing and cringe a little bit.
That was way funnier and genuine, what just happened there, and that's what real comedy is, than you fake it,
Mm.
Oh, that was funny.
Mm. Oh, I'm glad you found it funny, because I find it
At the end of the
embarrassing,
day.
but anyway. So yeah, what else? One thing.
Did you sell any art?
Did I sell any art? I didn't sell any art this week.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't you have a box? You sold that little painting.
Yeah, but that was last week, and I think we spoke on it on last.
Were you talking about Sundays at the beginning of the week?
Yeah, between the last podcast and this podcast, I hadn't sold any art.
Oh, good.
But I did sell some bookmarks. I made a little bit of money. Somebody came by and got $5 bookmarks from me. So hey, that's better than nothing. But what more important is I shared 2 new paintings this week, which I haven't done in a long time. I've got this one. I've got one that I already shared. And I'm going to be putting this one up tomorrow on my social medias. So it's been a while since I've shared 2 new paintings, even though they're small, in a while. And then I've got this one back here that's so close to being finished, and I've just been focusing on these little things, kind of regaining my passion and having something done in my hand where I have that sense of accomplishment that motivates me to move forward and do something else. And I think I'm going to try and finish this one this week, so that by next time we're on Arty Time, maybe we'll be ready to show it off. Maybe not, I'm not promising, but that's part of the plan anyway.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too, because it was weird. Halfway through this painting, and I've noticed that before, when I work on big paintings, I have a hard time finishing them. There's just something that comes partway through it where it's oh, I don't want to work on this one anymore, and then I start feeling guilty about not working on it and getting it done. And I think I need to recognize this pattern has happened before, and the cure seems to be to put aside the big one, make a little tiny one, and get it done in a day or 2, and just have something new and fresh, ready, something done, something something new to feed the folks.
A side project.
Something new to feed the folks, and something to just get off of that. Exactly. To just a side project, something to like take a break from the big one. And that's also part of the reason I eventually want to get an assistant to help me paint a little bit for like 4 to 6 hours a week or something. Because then when I get into that phase where I'm working on a big one and it's like, I don't really feel like hitting that big one, it's like, all right, time to call in the assistant.
Mm-hmm. Get over here.
Yeah, get over here. I need that background filled in. Let's do this. And yeah, so we got a whole episode called Get Help, and having other people help you in your art career is nothing to be ashamed of, and in fact it's necessary. Every artist I know that's successful has a team of people that help them in many different ways, whether it be their print shop that helps them, or it be their assistant, or it be...
Well, guaranteed when I blow up these prints, I'm going to be walking into any university that I feel like I'm close to and using their dark room.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone asks, I would go to school here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get help from people that are good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And the easiest way to find them is probably a school or a co-op situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the schools are the best because they won't know anything about money. The co-op situation, they might ask at one point, did you pay for the co-op fee? And then you're like, yes, I did. Mm-hmm. But kids will never ask that shit.
Have you ever...
They'll just be so...
What was the word? Oh, shit, I forgot what I was going to ask you now. I totally forgot what I was going to ask you.
The point is that getting help is a really important part of the business. Because you're going to want to expand into other things at sometimes, maybe a new medium. Maybe you want to CNC your mandalas and have them cut out, jigged. Well, are you going to cut and jig it, or are you going to ask some help from someone who's really good at it so that you skip some of the earlier blunders, which will be a waste of time in your career?
Mm-hmm.
You can't have like amateur hour when you could just avoid that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and have the right tools and everything.
It totally depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Like for you, I think like learning how to use that 3D printer and your embroidery machine, like it could be argued that might have been a waste of time, but it wasn't, because it was part of your story, and I was into it, and I learned about embroidery, and I got my own embroidered clothes because of my association with you telling me about embroidery and things like that. Like, I never even considered really doing embroidery with my designs until you...
And it was madness, too, that it even worked.
Yeah.
Madness. His designs are crazy in embroidery.
Yeah. But, I mean, you took it a step further and got your own embroidery machine and learned how to do it yourself. And you got a 3D printer and you took it to that next level and learned how to do it yourself. And you learned it's a little more complicated than maybe you thought it was at the beginning.
Everything always is. The film is going to be that, too.
Whereas, if you had a Fiverr guy do the design and taken the file to a guy who's been doing 3D printers for 10 years downtown, you would have paid for it, but your thing would have come out right the first time. But you would have sacrificed the story for that, or at least part of the story. It would have been a different story.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been the story of going to the thing and saying, hey, how'd it come out? And the guy pulling out this amazing thing and being like, oh, here it is, it's perfect, the first time.
Yeah. No, it's and that was the Brossard Library to an extent.
Yeah.
But what I've learned with the 3D printer is that it's not advantageous to keep making new designs, as smart as you think that would be. Because that's not my business. My business, priority is not to sell you a toy, because society thinks toys are worthless.
I sold my toy for $710 US.
He's a champion. He's an absolute goddamn champion.
I really want to get another one.
An absolute champion. But you know what? I sell canvases for that price, so I'd like to just stick to the canvases, please. And that's funner. So that's A, game. Then next, people think clothes is more expensive than toys. All right, B, game. And then we have the toys. So I'm bringing back the cat. And we're going to do it with resin casts and silicone molds. We're going into a new wave of, this is a way to make a toy. Silicone mold. And this is the old way, actually. The silicone mold of a sculpt. So we already have the sculpt. It was 3D printed.
I have so many things that I really want to get into and do. I mean, one thing as an artist that I think is hard to decide sometimes is what to do. Because, like, most artists I know, and sometimes people who are not really creative people ask me, like, oh, where do you come up with all these ideas? And it's like, man, if you only knew the half of all, like, the ideas you see are like the 10% that trickle out that get done. There's like a whole 90% more that are just ideas and that like never get done because like I'm not a billionaire to make this pod thing happen.
Yeah,
but like, it's an amazing idea, so I put it out there onto YouTube in this video. Maybe somebody will pick it up and run with it someday, and I'll be getting better sleep. You know, if you run with it, man, just give me a pod. I don't even want to get paid. Just give me a freaking pod so I can sleep well at night. And like, I'll paint one for your advertising purposes. Whoever makes the pod. So
this guy.
There we go. Yeah.
Making that pod.
Making that pod, exactly. I'm getting sponsorship deal for the pod before the pod's even made.
Bro,
I invented the pod.
The pod is a good idea. We're gonna get some angel investors and we're gonna make this thing happen.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And like at the end of it, like it could even have like a button there or like a
CTO again with the
Yo,
buttons.
I know, but like, you know, like
what does it do? Tell me what it does.
like you know, you can barely survive anymore. You're 92 there. Things aren't going so good.
Oh,
you press the button. It's the pod. He died in his sleep. No one knows. Fuck. All right. Yeah. There you go.
What if that button there all the time? Oh, that big red button that just kills you. So don't ever press that.
Or it could be like a whole like it's euthanasia. There you go. Like euthanasia
that's
pod.
like when you said that I thought of the suicide booth from Futurama.
I don't think I've seen that episode, but like
The whole joke in episode 1 is that Fry thinks it's a phone booth, and it's like no. In the future, phone booths are suicide booths.
Really?
People, yeah, that's the joke. That in the future they would just like off themselves in a booth. It's like so happening so often that there's booths like making it all. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's hilarious. No, I don't remember.
It's pretty dark when you think about it. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking dark.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited about going home and doing the development. So I don't want to stick around and do like Arty Time for like 2-3 hours turbo mode.
All right. Well, I don't know. Like, I think we covered some good things tonight. I mean, we covered.
Look, it's been a great episode in this room. The quality's been amazing.
The quality is better. The
only
lighting's
stopped
better.
once.
The lighting's better. Yeah. So that's not really a big issue. It only stopped once.
Yeah. So that guy I thought was going to continue multiple times, and the episode was going to be about that.
Next time, when we get bring some of your art, we'll hang in the back, so it's like not just my showroom there. We can rep some of your big pieces because I've got room here for big pieces of yours. You can bring some of your bigger pieces and show them off in a setting where you can talk about them for a little longer than 15 seconds on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because your art has a lot of layers to it, some of it, and it has a lot of hidden meaning that is not always obvious, and like these comics have jokes behind them and like meanings that are hidden, or not hidden, but like, you know, they might not be obvious to the person who's not...
No, there's too much. There's too much going on, and the information is moving too fast that I can only yell one thing.
Yeah, I think...
That's all I can really yell.
As someone who's heard some of the deeper meanings behind some of your art, like, I think it would be cool maybe for you to talk about a piece where you explain some of the, like, some of the deeper meaning behind what your bootlegs are.
Some people think I have internet and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even at that level of listening. Because it's been said. But the information moves so fast that you literally have 2 words every time. I'm telling you, it's so brutal. If you really take a step back every time, and that's why you always have to hit the same drum beat, is that people can only take at this moment, like, bro, not even a sentence.
No, I understand
a sentence is like, whoa, you
I
lost
understand
me on
that,
the third consonant.
But those people aren't real fans. For me personally,
it's no one's fault. It's the internet.
I know.
Literally the internet. It's no one's fault. We're there and we're like on a bus and we're nah.
The reason I'm bringing it up is for the real fans, they're gonna want something more to chew on. They're gonna want something long form. They're gonna want a book. They're gonna want a podcast. I know.
Like that. If someone's listening to the podcast, it clearly can take more than a sentence. I'm talking about a 2,000.
That's my point. Is give more than a sentence. Talk about one of your paintings next time on the podcast, and give more than a fucking sentence about it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And here you are arguing about but the
documentary's better.
Like, well, here's the opportunity to give that thing. Okay, so we'll film you talking about it. Then, when you make your documentary, you cut that out of Arty Time and put it in your documentary.
No, the documentary, don't worry about that. I have a whole style in mind for that. I won't have this podcast.
What's a documentary without a montage of previous clips.
It's gonna be a montage.
Basically, everything is a montage. Like, almost anything that has like different clips is a montage. Really.
And edit. Yeah. Okay, I get you.
Like a whole TV show is basically a giant montage with a mini montage in it sometimes. Like I love when they do on the CSI one. They do the best montages on CSI. They do these like like it has the same music each time and they go on and they're like, oh, we're back in the lab and like the music stops and the montage is over.
I used to use that a lot in video, but now I don't use the computer as much. So I don't know.
I just want to know if anybody knows where the montage joke is from. If you know where that's from, like
South Park?
No.
That's what I was doing before with the song.
No.
Gonna be montage.
But that's actually not
Showing
from South Park.
clips and getting better, or something like that. There's
But that's not from South Park.
That song's from South Park.
No.
It's a song. It's a song that the guy Trace Parker made.
Are you sure it's from South Park?
He's singing the song. It's gonna be a montage, and then it's like he's describing what a montage is to that kind of.
Are you sure it's not from Team America World Police?
Oh yeah, is it?
Yes.
It's Team America World Police. Still Trey Parker.
And Matt Stone.
No, I think it's just Trey Parker.
Is it?
Matt Stone doesn't sing along, bro.
Oh, maybe
he
not.
does Kyle's voice, and that's pretty much it. Like every single song ever.
Is it even them?
Every single song ever is Trey Parker.
So yeah, this has been a montage of a one-shot montage. So it's like it's just a malt.
This one is just a malt. We just go live.
Yeah.
Almost alive, piece two.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I don't know what else we got to talk about.
I want to go and
paint.
do the coffee, dude. I want to see you tomorrow and be like, check this in the sun.
Nice.
And you'd be like, oh shit, that's me in negative form.
And then I'll eat it because I'll be like, I haven't had a coffee yet.
So hopefully coming soon, I'll be posting some of those pics. There's 24. Hopefully
Bro,
that
it's
turn out
caffeine
nice.
blotters. That would be amazing. Caffeine blotters. There you go. Develop them. Make them on blotter paper and hand them out to people. Like caffeine blotters. There you go. Oh, it could be a thing. Probably not. Anyway, all right. Yeah.
It's an intimate thing.
Mm.
I'm just gonna share the process of how you too can make your intimate moments last in intimate ways, versus the whole internet fast-moving throwaway culture.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the counterculture saying, "Arty on, Adam."
Arty on, Germ, and Arty on anyone who's out there watching. Thanks for watching, and we hope you'll tune in next time when we talk about.
I'll have the footage. I'll bring the film.
Mm-hmm.
Fail or success, and most likely success at the rate that I refuse to fail.
Yeah, that's true, and I'll hopefully have this giant thing ready to go and like show the whole canvas off, and yeah. So stay tuned for possibly that, and possibly other things.
Have a good time, guys.
Good night.
Until next time, we were live.